Shorashim in North America. We want to thank you all for coming to this event, an intimate conversation with former IDF soldiers. Shorashim is an educational organization that was started nearly 40 years ago and is dedicated to building bridges between North Americans and Israelis. We are known for our birthright Israel and tailor-made experiences in Israel. We're continuing to find ways to reach our goals by bringing people together virtually during this time of social distancing. We started Better Together to remain committed to our vision and to all of our alumni friends and our extended family. Check out our upcoming events and programs on our website. We're currently providing a space to learn about the IDF, which is the Israeli Defense Forces, from Israelis who have served in the military at different times. We will hear from them for about 45 minutes, and then there will be a time for question and answers. If you have any questions during the question and answer time, you'll message them to me, Trudy, the host, via the chat feature, and then I will call on you to ask them. I now want to introduce you to my colleague from Israel, Maayan, who will tell us a bit more about the IDF and who we are hearing from today.
Hi guys, it is very, very exciting to see you all. I'm very, very happy to see everyone here. As Trudy say, I'm Maayan. I'm the educational manager of Shorashim. I'm in the Israeli office, and I'm very, very, very excited to be here today. Really like to see all of you, as I said, and your interest about the IDF and the personal stories in the IDF. Before we're about to begin, and before I'm going to introduce you, Yossi and Shir, I want to ask you some questions. So please raise your hand if your answer is yes to one of the following questions. The first question is, if you have ever been with Birthright Israel Shorashim, and you got to meet one of the Israeli who served in the IDF. If your answer is yes, please put your hand like that, really close to the camera. If you heard from your IDF friends or Israeli friends about the IDF as it is today, but actually you feel that you really interesting, you find it interesting to see how the IDF was back then when the state of Israel just established. Raise your hand. If you heard a lot about the IDF fighters, the men fighters, but you didn't have actually the chance to hear about the women's perspective of fighters, please raise your hand. And if you are really, really, really excited to be with us today, please raise your hand. Woohoo! So we are really also excited to see all of you here. And many of you, as you just answered, have been with us, Birthright Israel Shorashim, and you shared with us the experience, and you've got to meet many of the Israel soldiers. And in this meeting, we're actually going to hear a little bit of a different story of the IDF, a really personal one, and you're going to see it from a really personal perspective. A little bit before we're going to begin, I just want to share with you that when I was back then, before more than 10 years ago, in the IDF, I was an educational officer. And in all the educational bases, we had this logo, this sentence that was written in all of the bases. It goes like that. Am boneh tzava boneh am, which means in English, the people built the army and the army built the people. As you probably know, the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, is a mandatory, which means everyone should go. Besides, we have a few exceptions, but everyone should go. And that's why the IDF has actually an opportunity to build the people, to give them, for example, education, and to help them later on in their life. As you probably know, the IDF was established just right after the Declaration of Independence during the War of Independence. So its main purpose is probably, as it says, to protect the Israel state. So today, I'm actually really happy to introduce you Yossi and also Shir. Yossi and Shir, before they're going to tell you about their part as fighters, they actually met in a group of Shorashim. Yossi was the tour educator and Shir was the participant, the Israeli participant. and this is how they met. And then today they're going to talk with you a little bit more about their own experience as a fighter back then and as a woman fighter today. So Shir and Yossi, please wave to everyone. So we're really excited and we're about to begin. I just want to say that the way Trudy just say, we're going to have about 30-40 minutes that we're going to answer questions. Yossi and Shir will answer the same question, each one of them from their own point of view. And later on, we're going to open that for your own personal questions. So yeah, we're about to begin. So Yossi and Shir, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your army service and what was your role in it. Yossi, can you begin?
Shalom, everybody. So I was drafted to the army in '67, 1 month after the 6 Days War. I decided to go to the Nahal. Nahal is an infantry unit that you combine kibbutz life and combat life as a soldier. The first half year we were in kibbutz Harel. 60 members we were in our unit. It's called Garin, half boys, half girls. We were part of the kibbutz life. We worked. We had the amazing cultural life. It was really best time. I worked in the Tarnegolot with the chickens, and I loved it. And we were part of the kibbutz. We almost felt that we are running the kibbutz, but not yet. After half a year, we went to the first training as combat soldiers. It was very tough, very difficult. Winter, 4 months, most of it outside. Very, very tough, a lot of practicing. And only now I understand that only because of the help of my friends, I could manage it. After the first training, we had the chance to choose what profession to have in the army. So I decided to be a medic. And I studied for 3 months to be a medic, and I loved it. And I felt that the medic thing is a very meaningful thing in the army and outside the army. And then we came back to the kibbutz, and then the other half was in the attrition war in the Suez Canal. In 1969, 1967, there was a big war between Israel and Egypt over the Suez Canal. We were in the east side, the Egyptians were in the west side. First time I was with a tanks unit, and then I was in bunkers on the Suez Canal. It was a tough time. You can see me with the helmet and with the life jacket in one of the pictures here. That's how we used to go there. All the time we got bombed by the Egyptians, but we knew what to do. We had the whistle, and whenever we heard that a bomb is coming, we whistle, and then we ran to the bunkers. In the bunkers, we were safe. But unfortunately, not everybody was safe. Many people got killed, including our commander, Chaim Ben-Ari, and it's never ended. Even today, an Israeli soldier was killed, so it's never ended. You can see in the pictures, me in the Suez Canal, me as in a tank, like kind of driver, and the other picture, after the regular service, I decided to go to officer course in reserve duty, and they caught me sleeping outside. When you are a soldier in the army, you can sleep anywhere, everywhere in a minute, even by standing. So they caught me here sleeping in the officer course, and that's it. Also, you can see a picture here of me in Sinai. We had the best tour ever that I had. I'll talk about it later as a medic, but you can see me bending a Bedouin boy in Sinai. The other picture on the left side, you can see all us, the boys of our Garin in the Suez Canal before the war, taking stupid pictures. We'll move to Shir.
Thank you, Yossi. Shir, can you explain it a little bit about your role in the army?
Hi everyone, I'm Shir. So I drafted the army in 2013. I served for 3 years in the artillery unit of the IDF. And most of my service, I served in the West Bank. And my unit took missions of erasement, tours around the settlements. We used to run the checkpoints, and the missions would go in shifts of 8 hours. So you're on a mission for 8 hours, and then you get 8 hours of rest, and so on for 11 days, and then you go home for 3 days, and so on. So that's basically my service. In the pictures, you can see from the left me at the very beginning. I think it's basic trainings. From the right, me somewhere in the middle. And the middle picture is in the Miluim. Anyone?
Reserves.
Yeah, thank you. So this one is like a few months ago. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Shir. And Yossi, we're moving forward.
What?
And I want to introduce the differences between then and today, and also between the differences between men and women back then and also today. So the first question is going to be like that. What was your motivation for enlisting in the IDF in general? And what was your motivation for enlisting in that particular position? Yossi, can we start with you?
Okay, my motivation is my family. Can you show the pictures? My parents and my grandparents came to Israel before the Holocaust. Both of them, my mother and my father, were in the Haganah. My mother was in a radio communicator in the Haganah. Haganah was the army before IDF. And my father, this is the picture on the right side, the guy with a gun. This is my father, Jacob. He was an otter. He was a soldier in the British Army and the Haganah at the same time. This mission was to guard the railways over Israel. So the motivation to go to the army was not a question even. I follow the legacy of my parents. And also my brother, the picture on the left side, this is my parents, my brother and me. My brother, David, went to the IDF, to Air Force. He was electronic teacher. And then in 1969, he was sent to America. This is us in the airport saying him goodbye because he was sent to America to get the first Phantom for the Israeli Air Force. So this was my motivation to go to combat unit. And then the brothers of my mother and my father were in kibbutz, so I knew kibbutz life, and I wanted to be in a kibbutz. And to be a medic, it's kind of funny. When I was in elementary school, my dream was to be a doctor for medicine. But in the later years, I understood that it won't work, so I decided at least to go to be a medic, and I loved it very much. And I'll tell you another story about being a medic later.
Thanks, Yossi. It sounds very interesting. We're waiting for later. Shir, can you also help us and answer the question? What was your main motivation for enlisting, and also to be a fighter, to be a woman fighter? What was your motivation to do that?
So I think my motivation came from the place I raised in. I grew up in a small place where everyone went to the army, usually for very good and significant jobs in the army. So this was very, very big part of the place I grew up in. And also, like Yossi said, my family. So my father was, both my father and my brother were combat soldiers. My father took part in the Yom Kippur War. And my brother also served at the West Bank for the most of his service. So the military ethos was all around.
Okay. And what was your motivation to enlist to your particular position, to be a fighter?
I just felt that I want to feel like what real army is. Like I wanted the real thing. I didn't want to sit in the office. I wanted to take part in this thing that everyone talks about.
Mm-hmm. And you felt like to be a fighter, this is the right answer for you.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt like this is the most the best thing I could give from myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, I think it's this need to prove that I can do just the same as boys.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay. We will hear later on if it was easy for you, it was a little bit tough. It will be in the next few questions. So we're moving forward to the next question. It will be, during your service as an IDF soldier, did you feel public support you as a soldier and also as a fighter? Yossi, can you help us and start?
Yes, it was unbelievable, the support. When we were in the Suez Canal in Sinai, it was far away. And on that time, all the way home, it was by hitchhiking. Everywhere they stopped and took us. And when we hitchhiked, they were talking to us with a lot of support, even love. And when we took public transportation buses, we saw the love of the people. People give us the feeling that we saved the country. So it was amazing, amazing feeling. And that's how we felt.
Okay. Thank you. Did people ask you questions? Why are you doing that? Or like, what is your motivation? Why are you going to be a fighter? Did people question that? I mean, your reasons?
No.
Or
They didn't question, but when they heard that we are in the Suez Canal in Sinai, wow, they were amazed.
mm-hmm. How did people show you the support? What do they say about the fact that you've been in the canal and about your service?
I saw by the eyes, by taking us hitchhiking very quickly. We didn't have to wait long time. And sometimes they brought us home even.
Sorry, it just stops for a minute. Okay, thank you. Shir?
Yes, so I felt the support also. I think people in Israel are used to see soldiers everywhere, and they used to see soldiers with guns, but people are less, I mean, it's less common to see, at least in the time that I were a soldier, it's less common to see a woman soldier with a gun. So I think people would look at me a lot. I felt the appreciation, but like in the small things, when you would go to buy a falafel or whatever. So everywhere you go with uniforms, you get discount. There was one place I would go every Friday when I got back home. I used to go with my father to buy falafel, and the seller would never let me pay for 3 years. I mean, it's small thing, but it gives you the good feeling that people appreciate the thing you do.
Definitely. Shir, I want to ask you, as a woman also served in the IDF, I chose to do something very differently. I slept mostly not in the field, and my army service probably was a little bit different than yours. And I want to ask you if do you remember people like coming to you and say, hey, Shir, why are you doing that? You can do so many other things. Why are you choosing to be a fighter? You don't have to do that. You have so many other stuff. Do you remember people questioning you or like asking you why you were doing, this particular job? Do you remember something specific like conversation or, I don't know, you're maybe hesitate about choosing this path?
Usually when people would ask me what I did in the army, so I say that I chose to be a combat soldier. So the first reaction, usually from guys, they say, are you a sucker? Like, why? Why would you do that if you don't have to? So people not always understood. I mean, if I had the option to serve 2 or 3 years, why would I choose the 3 years? But I just wanted it. I cannot explain it more than that.
Okay, thank you, Shir. How was the woman soldier perceived during your time? So it was a little bit different back then and today. And I want to ask you from your own perspective, how can you answer this question? Yossi?
Okay, because I was in Garin in Nahal, we were half boys, half girls, about 60 people. In the kibbutz, we were equal. With the chickens, we worked boys and girls. In the children's house, only girls worked on that time. But when we went to the army, it was different. Our first training, the boys was 4 months. For the girls, it was 2 months. And all the time when we went outside to the Suez Canal or to other military stuff, the girls stayed in kibbutz. They didn't do anything, only in the kibbutz. And there was occasion in the Suez Canal, when I was there, we used to get a lot of visitors, commanders, singers. And one time a commander, officer girl came to visit and she got wounded. And then after she got wounded, they didn't let any girl to come to the Suez Canal. I think nowadays it changed. So let's go to Shir.
But before that, I just want to ask a question. Yeah. In your time, did you have like commanders who were women, officers who were women, or only the boys, only the men were the officers and the...
No. There were women officers, but not in charge of us. Mm-hmm. Not in charge of the boys. Women on the girls, not in charge of both. And this is another change that happened in the army now.
Okay, I can't wait to hear your answer, Shir, about this question.
So I served in a unit where the majority is boys or guys. The girls were about 10% of the unit. And I feel like at the beginning, at the basic trainings, at the few first months, the boys had a bit hard time with serving next to girls. They would say that because of us, the physical level of the trainings is lower than usually. And actually, they were right. I mean, there are physical differences between boys and girls. And as long as we got into the service and as long as the time passed, we got to know each other better. We become really good friends. I mean, it wasn't really matter if you're a boy or a girl anymore. And it was just matter what kind of person you are. And if you're a good person, if you're good soldier, if you're not complaining, if you're doing the missions with ambition, so then you will be a good combat soldier. Of course, the physical part was there always for me during my whole service. It was a big challenge for me. we had to carry a big weight during most of the missions. So every time we would go out of base, we would wear this big ceramic vest that protects us, and then on top of this, another vest that you put your equipment inside, and then the weapons and the helmet. So it's heavy. I mean, I had to get used to it, and this was something that came with me during the whole service. It didn't get easier.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question. I mean, it's not written, but you're looking at the things pretty in a positive way. And I do want to ask you, do you feel this situation as you're telling right now? I mean, does your friends, your women friends will say the same, like how women perceived during your time? They treated the same, everyone count on them, or it was a little bit different, women and men?
Are also combat soldiers or friends that are just had a normal.
Not combat soldiers.
Not a combat soldiers?
Mm-hmm.
I think they would say different because when you go to a combat unit, I mean the physical part is one of the things, is one of the main things. I mean, most of basic training is about just being good in physical
Mm-hmm.
tasks. So you have to run good, you have to pass all kind of tasks. So I think when they have to compare boys and girls in this parameter, so this was the thing that made the boys look different on us.
Mm-hmm. In that specific subject, did you find, did you had challenges? I mean, how people treat you as a woman, how people look at you as a woman?
I can say, I don't know if you mean soldiers or other people, but I can share that during the missions in the West Bank, so people Palestinian people were looking different about the girls and the boys. I mean, if I asked something from someone, sometimes he would just not listen to me just because he saw my hair under the helmet. So definitely people were looking different on each other, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what do you think were your main struggles? I mean, in the unit with other women or maybe men, what was your main struggles?
I think one of the main struggle was the physical one, but also the being away from home for that long.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, we would go for 11 days and then just 2 or 3 days at home and then going back to base. And this is the good in the good way. Mm-hmm. There were times where we would go to 17 days or 21 days. So there was also mental issue.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yossi, can I ask you, what was your main struggles during your time at your service?
There was one time during the attrition war that 6 weeks we didn't leave the Suez Canal, we didn't shower. So this was the main challenge. When I came home after 6 weeks, my parents prepared me a bath. I think to stay clean and to look like human beings, it was the main challenge during the war. And the commanders took care of it.
Okay. Thank you. So our last question before we open it for your questions. What is the main contribution of your IDF service to the person that you are today? Yossi, we will start with you.
Okay, it was really a meaningful time for me, and my best friends till today are from the army. We met even yesterday, this week in the closure nearby. The friendship that we made was forever. And while we were there, we felt like a family. It's continue. The other thing that I got is to be responsible, to stay, לעמוד בלחצים, איך אומרים? לעמוד בלחצים.
With stress.
Yeah, and not to give up. And another thing is love to the country and love to hike. Because the best hike tour that I ever had in high school, we had tours, it was really bad. But in the Garin, we had a tour to Sinai in the Nahal for 7 days, 7 jeeps, all of us in 7 jeeps. The food, the guiding, the driving was by us. It was the best ever. Since then, I love to hike. And I want to end with 2 stories, 2 good stories of a war. Usually the war is a bad story, but 2 good stories. I was there when the ceasefire came. The ceasefire came on Friday evening. We heard in the radio Prime Minister Golda Meir announce of ceasefire. We felt like in heaven. And from midnight, no fighting anymore, no shooting. And the other thing is about me as a medic. Before the ceasefire, singers came to our bunker to sing for us. It was a group of boys from the band La'akat HaNachal. While they entered to the bunker, the Egyptians started to bomb. I'm sure they saw. And one of the singers was wounded very bad in his leg. So we had a doctor, and me, we bandaged him, we took care of him, and then they took him with a tank and then with helicopter to hospital. I remember his name. His name was Amos Bontman, and I was looking for him in the media, and I saw that he's staying as a singer from Kibbutz Afikim. And about 9 years ago, I went to folk dancing in Kibbutz Afikim, and I saw him there. So I went to him and I said to him, Shalom Amos, my name is Yossi. I was your medic in the attrition war. And he said to me, I was looking for you 40 years. I never knew your name. And he was dancing. So it means that his leg was good. So we were good medic and doctor. And now we are friends on Facebook.
Wow, Yossi. I'm sure if anyone can hear, like, do unmute yourself, they will also be like shocked. Wow. Beautiful story. Yossi, you said before that one of the things that you take from the service, one of the things that contribute for the person that you are today is the fact that you are pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and you're never let go. Can you share with us why is that? What happened? I mean, if you have one example of something that happened to you that made you be the same person that never letting go and always pushing himself to take it one step further.
Maybe it was the most difficult day when, it was, when our commander Chaim was killed. We were young, we were 20, 21 years old, and we didn't know what to do. And I was the medic, somebody else was wounded. I had to take care of him. And it taught me that we have to go on, no choice. We didn't have any choice to stop because we were there and we had to do the mission. And that's what our commander told us before he was killed. So I think this was a lesson for me. And whenever we have difficulties in birthright, never give up. Last winter, there was a group that half of the program was raining all the time. We were wet, all of us. But me and the group, we said, let's go. We were running from Machane Yehuda Market to Caesar Hotel in heavy rain. Everybody was smiling. We changed the clothes and we continue. This is it.
Amazing, Yossi. I mean, you're actually telling us that whenever you look with a different perspective about something, the whole picture is just changing. So, a great lesson. Thank you. Shir, we're moving to you. What do you feel is the main contribution to your IDF service, to the person that you are today?
Yeah, so I really agree with Yossi in this part.
I'm cutting you for 1 second. It was how many years from now? 3 years?
4
4 years. Okay. Okay, continue, sorry.
Yeah, so friends. Yeah, I mean you get really good friends in the army. But I think what's unique is that my bestest friends are people that I wouldn't meet in any other way, because people in the army get from all over the country, from all kinds of places. I feel like I got a really good chance to meet people and look at them in different ways than I would if not the army. Also, I feel like it gave me the opportunity to build myself as an independent person. Just the fact that I spent so much time outside of home, managing myself, and I got to see, like actually see with my eyes the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts. And I realized, I learned that it's way more complicated than I ever thought. So this is the main things that I got.
Thank you so much. You're talking here also about friendship and your own perspective that you're seeing, like the Israel and the situation over here. And I want to ask you with this about the things that you just started to talk about the friendship. I mean, how would you characterize the friendship that are started in the IDF? I mean, do you feel it's different from other friendship that started, for example, in the university or from the high school? I mean, what do you think make it special, the friendship that started in the IDF, from your own perspective?
I feel that what makes it special is that, I mean, it sounds really simple, but in the army, everyone comes and wear the uniforms. And it brings you to the situation that everyone looks equal in your eyes. I mean, no differences. There is no difference between me and between the person that stands beside me. I don't know where did he came from. What is the opinions? I mean, I don't get the ot kdumot.
I don't remember.
Stigmas, maybe?
Stereotypes.
Stereotypes. Everyone is equal. So this situation is what makes us be such a good friends, because you just see the character of the person.
Wow. Thank you, Shir.
I totally agree with what Shir said. Exactly.
It also happened to you, Yossi, that you felt you see the person and not where he coming from or his status?
No way. The main thing is what kind of human being he is. And then we became friends. It's not like a university, he's the best one. Nobody is the best one. Everybody is equal.
Thank you so much.
And they help you, and everybody help each other in bad situation.
Mm-hmm. With this message and this optimistic sentence, if it's okay with you, we're going to open this conversation and to let people, or 30, 40 people, ask questions that you both can answer. So Trudy?
Yes, I already have a few questions that came in. So if you have any others, please continue to chat me. I've been asked to ask them because there's been some audio issues. First one, this does start off with, hold on, sorry. This starts off with a hello to Yossi from Sarah, Jake, and David. They all say hi.
Wow.
And then for Shir, they want to know if you feel that your femininity was impacted by being in combat.
That's a very good question, actually. I can say, yeah, maybe a little. I never been such a girl that plays with dolls and stuff, but I feel like it stayed with me after the army also. I feel like it was just for this time where it got really extreme. Like I felt during the army that I'm really equal to the guys. I mean, I really felt it. I felt like I could do everything. I could carry whatever it will be. I could run as fast as them. It gave me this kind of motivation to prove that I'm just as them. I hope that answered the question.
Great, thank you. The next question I have was asked to be asked anonymously. If you have any other questions, please continue to have them in. I can ask them for you if you would like them to be anonymous, or we can say your name, or you can ask them yourself. Lots of options. What if fighting occurs on Shabbat?
Yossi, can you start?
Yeah. It's not a question even, because it's written in Jewish sources that pikuach nefesh doche Shabbat. For life, you can do everything. So fighting in Shabbat, no, not questionable. I don't remember we fell Shabbat during the attrition war. Even though I was with religious soldiers, maybe we did short Kabbalat Shabbat, we continue like regular.
You asked about Shabbat, but also Yom Kippur, which is the most holy day. Even in Yom Kippur, we would still go on as usually.
Did each of you remember that he had a conflict? I mean, even not in a war, but sometimes that whenever you need to like decide to do something for the army or to keep Shabbat. I mean, do you ever have such a conflict or something like that? Yossi?
No.
It always go together?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Trudy, do we have the next question?
Yes. The next question, I'm going to unmute her. Hold on. It is Rebecca Strauss. Rebecca, you are unmuted.
Hi, Yossi.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see you.
Rebecca, wow.
So my question is, I would like to know if you and Shir had any sense of what support for the IDF was like coming from the diaspora during your service. Was it something you were aware of? And is it something that you feel like has changed over time?
I don't know.
I need that in Hebrew.
Shir, do you want to answer and I will help you with the English?
Sure, I just need the question again, if you can help me
Repeat.
understand.
Yeah.
So please, Rebecca, please ask the question again and we'll answer.
So my question is, during their service in the IDF, did they have any sense of what support for what they were doing was like, coming from the diaspora, coming from outside of Israel? And do they feel that support from the diaspora has changed over time?
I can say that, yeah, I felt it during my service. We would get so I served during the Tzukaitan war. So during this time we got so many gifts and so many things. Also, part of them were from outside of Israel. And something a bit bigger than that, today I'm a student. I'm a student for industrial design, and I get the Impact Scholarship, which is people from the United States that helps students who were combat soldiers with paying the school rent.
Like a scholarship, right? You get money to go to study.
Today I feel this really hard, and it helps me a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
So in my time, I didn't feel it, but there was another thing. The Prime Minister was Golda Meir, and Rebecca that asked the question, she loved Golda Meir, and I love Golda Meir because she made the ceasefire for us.
Rebecca, did they answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Trudy?
All right, we have another person who has a question. Name is Dan Argentar. A Shorashim.
See,
He should get.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Hi, Yossi.
Hi, Dan.
Hello to all my Shorashim friends and family on the call. Love you all. I was just going to ask both Yossi and Shir. In 1980s, when I met Yossi, I'm really old. The country and the youth were really interested in joining the IDF. Everybody loved the army and was really excited to go to the army. And so I wanted to ask if you see a difference today with the youth. Are there a lot less youth that are enthusiastic, excited to go to the IDF? Has the feeling changed among the youth? And thank you guys for doing this. It's awesome.
It's a good question, Dan. I think it changed. In my time, from my class from high school, everybody went to the army. Not everybody to combat unit, but everybody to the army. Nowadays, it's not like this. And the people that come as Shorashim Israelis are the people that go to the army. We don't accept somebody that don't go to the army. So I think Shir can add a lot.
Right, for Shir's generation, is it different for your generation?
Yeah, I think in my generation, it's more common to not go to the army from ideological reasons or these kinds of reasons. But I feel like today people, I don't know if I can say that as a statement, but I feel like a lot of people go to the army to help themselves in the future. like getting tools that will help them maybe get better jobs in the future, any kind of technological units. So I think that is a factor also today.
I want to jump in for a second, if it's okay, and to answer something a little bit different. I was an officer before 12 years ago. And I mean, even like before, I mean, when I was an officer and today, there's a big difference. I feel that today there are many מכינה קדם צבאית and שנת שירות, which is 1 year gap that people takes after they graduate and before they start the army. And people are doing that also to contribute Israel and the society, but also because they understand that as more as they will have meaningful service, they can get tools, but also they want to do something meaningful in the army. So they're really taking 1 year gap to learn and to walk in Israel and to get new friends, but also because they understand that if they will have a meaningful army service, everything will be open for them. So they really feel that they can take advantage of that. I mean, if they will focus on what we're going to be, what kind of fighter they will be. I feel today there are also many different kind of roles for women, and this is also something that is unique. And I believe, Yossi, correct me if I'm wrong, but in your time it was a little bit different. And also right now we have a lot of options for women. So women do really have, we encourage women to go, and we have many tests before they're starting each one of the roles. So people do put a lot of effort in that because they understand they want to do something really meaningful. So from my perspective.
Great. I think those are all the questions we've got.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay, I think there is a big change nowadays about the options for peace from my time. I was in an attrition war against the Egyptian in 1970. 9 years later, the peace with Egypt came. We didn't expect it. In 1984, I went to Egypt, and I talked with Egyptian soldiers, not through monocle, eye to eye. It's possible, and I feel from both sides that the generation of Shir, they are very, very pessimistic that it's impossible to have peace in this region. But the Middle East is surprising all the time. Maybe, and maybe after the corona, other changes, who knows?
When I were little, my parents used to tell me, when you will grow up, there will be no army. And I feel like I cannot say the same to my nieces and nephews, which is sad, but that's the situation.
With that, I have the song Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu in my head. And I do want to
Dan can play. Tell Dan to play, he can do it.
Dan, and also we have Woody here. Many people here can play. And I want to finish this session with the same sentence I started with. The main sentence is, go with me all the time, is Am boneh tzava boneh am, which is the people built the army and the army built the people. We saw today, or mainly here today, two perspectives. And as you know, for each fact, for each experience, there are so many different points of views, and this is only two. So of course, if we can put here many more people, we'll have different perspective and different answers. So keep that also in mind. I wanna thank Shir and Yossi for preparing ahead everything and for being us with here today. Yeah, they deserve it. And it was amazing to hear your experiences and you sharing with us all these stories. So thank you very much. And thank you everyone here for being us today, because without you, we could not speak. I mean, we can speak with ourselves, but it was a nice experience to share, a nice opportunity to share. Trudy, before we end this conversation, do you want us to share with us what are we expected in the, I'm going to share my screen again.
Yes. So on Thursday and again on Sunday, we have 2 upcoming yoga sessions that you can join us for. You can find out more information on israelwithisraelis.com/bettertogether if you're interested in joining those. And we will be sending out more information on sessions like these again. So thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you guys again.
Very nice.
Thank you everyone for listening. It was a pleasure.
And I will unmute everyone so you can say thank you.
Bye, Yossi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Yossi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Yossi.
Yossi.
Bye, Yossi.
Bye, Shir.
Hi, Yossi.
We had the best bus.
Bye.
Hi, Trudy.
Hi, Vinny. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Yossi.
Bye, Julie. Wow.
Bye. Kisses to you.
All right.
יוסי, כל הכבוד. היה מעולה ומרגש. תודה גדולה.
איזה יופי, גם שיר הייתה נהדרת.
נכון, אני תכף אדבר גם איתה. אודי!
שלום לכם.
היי, אודי.
יוסי, היה מעולה. היי, טרודי.
היי.
יוסי, איך היה לך? How was it for you, יוסי?
Exciting.
That was great. I loved it. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Loved it.
It was very מרגש, very exciting, very beautiful, and the stories that you share with us, seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yossi, you should know that what you said about Golda Meir, who, by the way, has a birthday on my day, May 3rd, was so I was so inspired, so I started making a salad.
Wow.
הבחורה ששאלה על about the Jewish community, I remember her, Rebecca. She loved Golda Meir. She played Golda Meir in her school.
Oh my God.
She learned
Yossi,
about her?
how do you remember everyone? How can you remember everyone?
Not everyone, most of them.
Well.
Yeah, no, that
Guys,
was
thank you so much. Trudy, are you sharing the recorded meeting?
Well, yeah, we need to have like Maya make it as a link. We'll send it to you guys.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
For you, Trudy and Justin?
Yeah, it was. I'm so happy we did this. This was so great, and it was so educational. And it's like, it's so nice to see. Like I learned stuff. I just loved it.
Yeah, I got.
Udi, how many people? How many people were?
About 45.
35. Wow.
44. Arba'im.
It was celeb.
Arba'im v'chamesh.
Yossi, Yossi.
Yeah. No, it's great. So I love it. It's very interesting.
Julie Mizak, I didn't see her for hundreds of years. Wow.
Mamash, I talked to Julie Mizak about a few weeks ago, and we said that we haven't seen each other in 20 years now.
Unbelievable. She looks exactly the same. Exactly.
I know. She does.
I need to go, but Trudy, I'm sending you a picture of everyone that were in the call, if you don't have one.
Of what?
Picture of the screen.
Oh, yeah. Justin, yeah, okay, great. Perfect.
Perfect. So guys, it was very nice to see you.
Yes.
Yossi, great job, seriously.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was so special.
And you did a great job with the salad.
Yeah. All right.
Yala. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.